Uranium, it's radioactive, it's everywhere. Now, is that cause for concern? Well, we'll see what's going on with DW made for mines. So, think radioactive, and you may think nuclear energy, atomic weapons, maybe you're thinking of a green glowing rock or something like that. But it's not always the case. Things are there, but they're not. And uranium, however, is all around us in rocks, water, and air. Yes, uranium is actually everywhere. Does that mean it's harmful, or what's going on? So uranium was discovered in 1789 by Martin Klettoprat, a German chemist, and it is a radioactive element found naturally in the environment in very small amounts. Scientists call these trace amounts in rock, soil, and water systems such as streams and plants as dust and air. And what does it look like? It has a silver white-gray finish as other heavy metals such as lead, cadmium, or tungsten, and is too very dense. And the International Atomic Energy, the IAEA, calculates the 10-centimeter, 3.93-inch cube of uranium weighs about 20 kilograms, 44 pounds. Now, uranium in the environment, you'll probably find it in soil in your backyard, and the IAEA says the average concentration of natural uranium in soil is 2 parts per million, which equals to about 0.002%, and that's what you might call a trace amount. As in dust, air, uranium can settle in the surface waters of rivers, streams, lakes, and then find its way to the bottom of the water, where it mixes with the natural uranium already there. And livestock consume uranium when they feed on grass, but is quickly shed again through the urine and the feces. So what's it used for? It's not for the natural variety. It can either be enriched or depleted. So it's not something you just pick up and use as a natural element. And enriched uranium is used for fuel for nuclear power plants and nuclear reactors that run naval ships and submarines and can be used in nuclear weapons. Depleted uranium has been used for radiation shielding or as projectiles in armor-piercing weapons. So, is uranium in drinking water? Uranium can also get into groundwater, and the World Health Organization says the intake through drinking water is normally extremely low. But that depends on the concentration of uranium in the water you drink. The IAEA says that in some parts of the world concentrations can be very high, and this results in the much higher intakes of uranium from drinking water than food. For example, consumption of uranium parts in Finland can be tens of micrograms per day. Whereas the carcinogen for humans is unclear, the WHO says there's insufficient data from humans and other laboratory studies. And how is it dangerous? It can be life-threatening, but that depends on your exposure. So if you're exposed to the environment outside your body, what experts call external exposure, then your health risk is low. As it decays in alpha particles and the sun can block out particles. Also, alpha particles are relatively slow and heavy compared to other forms of nuclear radiation. However, a person ingests a high concentration of uranium, it can cause cancer affecting bones and the liver, and it's also a toxic chemical, so any form of consumption will damage a person's organs severely, particularly the kidneys. And leaking uranium from industry is also an issue with industrial runoff and environmental runs. So, if it's radioactive, it's everywhere. Is it always dangerous? Not necessarily. But in high concentrations it can be, so it's always a good idea to periodically test your water, make sure your groundwater does not have high levels of uranium.